culture. At SableCon, we keep that tradition alive with comic creators, writers, and artists telling their stories. Cosplaying provides a chance for Black fans to represent the characters they knew and loved. To celebrate Black nerd culture, SableCon is hosting a convention on May 20 to 21, 2023 at Ace Event Center in Knightdale, NC, along with a cosplay contest. Be on the lookout for this convention.
Hey, what up, y'all? What up, y'all? It's been a while. I did that about a week or two, I think. It's about time for me to start getting back to it and all that good stuff. So I will be back up here a little bit more. What I actually have to do is get consistent and get a certain time that I'm up here to where it'll make sense for everybody to pop on here, because being all over the place, it's like that's not very helpful. So I'll get that together over the next coming weeks. But I'm gonna try not to stay up here too long. Not too long. Just some stuff that I've seen that I wanted to talk about. And the first thing, as usual, go to akachicomics.com, get the books, sign up for SableCon. We got some new information coming out with that, have some new videos and everything with that. And any of my vendor people, any of my artists, writers, all that, hit me up if you're trying to get out there. It's in North Carolina, May 20th and 21st, Knightdale, right outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. So let's get you in on that and get everybody rolling, and we can make history with, I believe, that area's first like full-on Black comic convention. I believe so. Now, I could be wrong. But then some of y'all might be waiting to see me do my thing first, and I ain't mad at that either. See how it turn out and come later. But come on out the first year, and we can make history, do some things, and get these comics and stories out to the people and stuff. So one thing I didn't get to talk on much was that whole Scott Adams dude, the Dilbert guy, talking about Black people. And the gist of it, he was being real sarcastic. And the gist of it was him saying that there was a poll it was a poll that said Black people said it wasn't okay to be white. And the thing, I believe it was a Rasmussen poll, and that from what I remember reading, that it took down like the thoughts of they surveyed like 1,000 Black people or something. So, and then like 40-something% of them or something like that said it wasn't okay to be white. So he just went full racist. Jumped out the window, talking about not doing nothing for Black folks. He's been doing stuff for Black folks for years. He don't plan on doing nothing else for Black people and everything. And this thing about it was like, he was talking about how much he did things for Black people, and not once did he say what he did for Black people. Like, it was like, I do so much. I'm trying to be an ally. I did so much for Black people. It was like, nah, you just seen an opening to go out to jump out the window and be full racist, and you decided to go ahead and do that. That's what that was about. It had nothing to do with him helping Black people, and he was being sarcastic the whole time before he got to that point, and was talking about that he identified as Black because he helped Black people so much. And again, never said what he did to help Black people so daggone much. And so I'm listening to this, and I'm just like, this dude is just going full on racist. And you can't, and it's the thing where he told white folks that Black folks are a hate group, and you need to stay away from them as much as possible. Let me tell y'all something. No matter what the internet, when you really travel this country, no matter what the internet say, no matter what people on Twitter, on Facebook, and they show you commercials of people being together and everything, ain't no large amount of, it's rare to have large amounts of white people and Black people living amongst each other. And I'm talking about like next door, right next door to each other. That's not how this go. This country ain't built like that. You go to any spot, it's going to be a majority no matter where you go. Indiana, Wisconsin, Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Texas, California. Been through a few of these places. Arkansas, Oklahoma. It's just Kansas. That's just what it is. But they try to make it like they just. It's always been a thing where black people and white people don't really live amongst each other like that. Even now, no matter what they try to tell you, no matter what they try to tell you. But it ain't this thing. But it's also not this thing where white folks are just doing so much. And he made it like he was just doing so much. And again, he didn't talk about what he did to help and everything. And if that's the type of help that black folks get, we don't need that. And what they're not talking about, and what he isn't talking about, and the people that defend him, like Elon Musk and everybody, who's a whole little God knows what when it comes to racism. He got his own little thing going on where he's always been like sneak dissing and poking at black folks, even with all his little handouts he get from the government. But the thing, it's like they talk about I do so much, but nobody can ever speak on what they do. And the thing, and I forgot what I was thinking about one thing, and then I jumped on Elon, and I was like, where was I gonna go with that? But that it was just a thing where it was like, this is getting old, and it's always these dudes in these comic, like, considered nerd type culture stuff, and it never fails. And this goes into I'm gonna be jumping around a lot on this one, but it goes into what I was talking about when I'm talking about with Disney right now. And Disney put out well, not right now, but what I titled it. Disney put out the stuff for the new Peter Pan movie. And it's like they're using everything with Yari Shadahari. I can never pronounce the young sister's name. The girl from Grownish and Blackish. They put it out that she's Tinkerbell. And now they're taking oh yeah, yeah. They don't be doing nothing. They'll be doing nothing. Like, I'm helping so much. I'm like, nah, not really. Not really. Not really. Not really. And so Disney is putting it out where, and I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna come back to that whole Scott Adams thing. I'm gonna be, like I said, I'm gonna be jumping around. Disney puts it out, and how is it the movie Peter Pan, right? The movie is Peter Pan, and they focusing on Tinkerbell being black. Now, at first, I used to jump on board and be like, yeah, no, but now I'm like, nah, I can't do this no more. I can't do this no more. Because this is Disney has perfected outrage marketing. It's like there's no real kind of representation. And I'm sure that even her being Tinkerbell, she ain't even gonna play a main role. But it's not about her. It's about Peter. It's not Tinkerbell. It's about Peter. And it's a good chance that she'll be relegated off to a couple of scenes or whatever. But that don't matter. Disney gonna put it out. Then they're gonna make articles and say, "Oh my God, the racists are coming out. You need to support." And then black folks gonna be like, "Yeah, we need to support this because this black woman is in it." Ah! Outrage marketing. They put it out. They put out something crazy, or just put out something they know people ain't gonna like. Get some looks and views and clout off of it, and some promotion off of it. Get in the new markets, and then next thing you know, they got a whole new set of people looking at it. It's the same thing over and over and over and over again. That's what this current generation's marketing is. It's just outrage marketing. Hey, if you don't like this, you can just put out these black folks. Now, and that's not against her or none of the black folks or anybody. It's not that. I'm not telling them, say they shouldn't take jobs and nothing like that. But I'm talking about what Disney is doing. I don't care about no Peter Pan like that. I don't. I can't say nobody. But I don't. And it's just it's the same thing over and over again. Over and over again. I can watch what they do with the Marvels. Like watch what they do with that. It's gonna be crazy. And I'm surprised that they haven't done it with Kang yet, but I think it's because I could be wrong, but I think it's because Kang is just kind of like he was always there, but maybe because they snuck it up on folks with He Who Obeys. It's just like they hit folks over the head. So I don't know, but this whole thing where they did, and I'm not saying I wouldn't see Peter Pan. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying nothing about not watching it, but I'm saying we can't keep falling for fake representation, which is used to benefit these companies. That's my thing more than anything. We can't keep falling for that. This fake representation that helps fuel and help these companies. Whole time they're not really doing nothing for us. It ain't like the money coming back around. It ain't like the money helping nobody. And I could be wrong. They could be doing all kind of great things and stuff. But let's not keep doing that. I've noticed like another thing I've seen, even this is before I got on here, I seen that somebody made this these black like Harry Potter-esque characters in AI, and they put it up on the website and stuff. And I was like, this ain't the way. This ain't the way. You can't take another product and then put it on, keep putting black skin on it and be like, yeah, I'm going to support and I'm going to do this and that. I'm like, no, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. And the reason why I say that's not how it works is because you're taking something that belongs to somebody else, and then you're putting black skin on it and you're making it like it's black. That's not how that works, because you can change it anytime you want to. Going back to the whole Tinkerbell thing, they can Tinkerbell be white in the cartoon again or something else some other time. So I'm not saying it's not good to see them and all that. You want to like it, that's fine. That's your business. But for me, and what I'm saying is, let's stop giving these companies some type of brownie point for changing skins. And then we go out and change skins and do the same thing with the Harry Potter stuff. Watch, you can go find it online. It's like an AI of like Harry Potter class. They got like serpent and a badger and a lion and some other stuff. And we get hyped because we like, I belong somewhere. And I've talked about this. I've talked about black folks wanting to belong. But every time you want to belong, it's somewhere else. It's somebody else's property. It's somebody else. And it's usually some other culture's thing. That's not how this works. They don't come up. If you look at when white culture wants to belong amongst black people, they come in, they take it, and they go make this wholly different thing, and then wipe your ass out all the time. And then they say it's theirs, and then they'll fight you and tell you you ain't shit and you didn't do anything to get any of this stuff. We get it. It's like, I'm standing next shoulder to shoulder with y'all, and I go to the Harry Potter school with y'all, and I'm a witch and a warlock too. No. They take it, wipe you out. You don't exist no more. But we keep doing it. When, like Amos Wilson talks about how America's built on violence, and it's always been a country of violence, and that America has to make a mythology on violence around other people to justify the violence that they do. And it's like they have to make mythologies, myths, and make it into folklore about this brutal black person, these oversexed black women. They have to do that and then promote that to keep everybody in line, white folks and black folks. And they keep building on these myths that are not beneficial to us. And then we take those myths and turn them inward and point them at other black people. So where am I going with that? what I'm going is you can't you can't take Harry Potter and be like, oh my God, this is ours, and we made some black ones. No. You have to create your own mythology amongst your own people, create your own, and promote that. That's why it's important that these you black artists, writers, everybody, y'all get out there and put your ideas out there and circulate it amongst other black folks. That's why it's important. We could do what they do and this and that. No. You have to make your own folklore, myths, and stories and circulate them around and with your people. You have to, no matter what. That what's his name? That Rippaverse guy. I seen him make a post talking about promoting the black folks and they ain't got money and all this. He full of shit. And that's the stuff and it goes back to what Amos Wilson is talking about. If you're not making your own mythologies and circulating them around your own people, you're fucked. Because everybody else got bigger trains. Everybody else is doing that with their people. But we're trying to take other people's or say, that's not a part of us. That's not what we do. We don't need to do that. I don't need to give it to black people. I don't need to do this. I don't need to make stuff just for black folks. It ain't got to be just for black folks. But it has to have a connection to the culture. And I'm going to keep saying it. I don't care what nobody say. That's another thing. I'm tired of it. I ain't going to be arguing with motherfuckers no more. My voice is going out too. I don't know what been going on. But I ain't going to be arguing with folks about what I think no more. I'm saying, y'all go argue about it amongst yourself. Go do that clown shit. But it has to happen. You have to create your own mythologies, your own stories, and circulate them amongst your people. That's the importance of what you artists do. You black artists, whether you draw art, whether you have to create your own. It can't keep being, you know what? It's Naruto and Dragon Ball and Harry Potter, and we got these schools. Like, no. You can't place yourself amongst theirs. You have to create your own. You have to create your own and support your own and tell those stories to young people, because a lot of these European stories are all stories of triumph and everything. And black folks love them 300. I liked the movie when it came out. Loved 300. They loved it. I never forget the first time I seen 300, and I was like, "Oh man, this is cool. This is it." He just kicked that black man amongst all. He just kicked that black man in that hole, and all them black dark skinned them dudes. And well, I understand. It's still cool. It's still and I understand it's cool. But at that time, like especially when I was like doing like MMA in California, white men lost their mind when that mess came out. Lost their mind. White men lost their mind when 300 came out. They was just losing it. You know why? Because they saw themselves not being in no subservient position, not doing nothing like just a messenger. White, and I'm not saying in white exactly. The white folks lost their mind, especially white men. Oh my God, they lost their mind when 300 came out. And again, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have. Nah. It was just back then. Just was kind of like, okay, well, I still like the movie, but like I said, white folks lost their mind, as they should. They have every right to. And going back to what Scott Adams was talking about, how black folks said it wasn't okay to be white. I'm not amongst them. It's okay to be white. Be white. But you know, but you know what comes along with the term white? There's a lot of vile, hateful shit that come along with the term white. But even with that, I still think you got every right to be white. Love who you are, this and that. You ain't gotta embrace that mess. But white folks lost their mind because they seen themselves in that. The dudes on 300, they weren't enslaving their own people. They didn't talk about none of that. They weren't messing up their own people. They weren't doing trifling shit to their people. They were talking about dying for their women and their children. They went out and faced the odds against all. Like everything was world beating. Everything was world beating. Everything. And this is why these images and these stories that we ain't even gonna talk about all that, Bobby. You ain't even gonna talk about all that, are we? But you're right. But they showed them in these world beating scenarios. And that's why black folks and everybody else have to make the same stories with the same mythology. It could be created, it could be real, it could be a mix of both. But if you got stories, you have to do it. It's up to us to tell these stories and not keep latching on to everybody else's stories. I may not talk about everybody else's books and stories and stuff, but it needs to be told. It needs to be told. And it don't have to be true. It don't have to be real life, like what Bobby just said. Man, they didn't talk about that the Persians bust them over their head and they had to work for them. They don't talk about how they went down to Africa and stole and took, and they don't talk about that. And if they do, it goes back to what Amos Wilson says about making mythologies about your own violence and how you put these myths out that everybody else is more violent. Thus, you have to protect yourself from the violence from these other people. And you putting out all these stories, and they become folklore, and then it just becomes these black folks is wild and they crazy and they just, oh my gosh. It is extremely important that we put these stories out. And I'm gonna keep talking about it. I don't care if I agree with your story. I don't care if I like your story. I don't care if I agree with your ideology. If you're a black person, you got to put these stories out. And white folks got to put their stories out too. I'm not telling them not to. I'll never say y'all shouldn't do that. Y'all shouldn't. No. Put your stuff out. But it's up to you to change the story about your people and to make sure that black folks and everybody else got something to go back to. So, I mean, it's a thing where it's just not. It's not. Let me see. Oh, that's the wrong thing. It doesn't make sense for us to keep latching on and promoting everybody else's story where you're just a side character. Even with the stuff with Marvel, like I like the Marvel stories. I won't be watching ones that like the shows and stuff. I won't be watching if I sit there and I'm like, yo, this sucked. Like the first episode or so, I ain't doing that no more. I can't. I'm not. I'm not gonna be sitting here watching it. No, I just need to watch it to keep up with. No, I don't. And I damn sure ain't gonna be arguing with nobody about what I don't like no more. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say I didn't like the first few episodes, and I'm gonna keep it rocking. I said the first few episodes trash, and so like that last phase of stuff, it got me. But even with Marvel, Robert Townsend was talking about how he didn't like the term black exploitation with the old films because a lot of people made money from it. And he was like, those were the films that you got to see black people being the heroes in and everything. And they were the ones getting the girls, saving everything and stuff like that. And it really helped Hollywood. And they had something to go watch and stuff, you know? And they weren't the sidekicks. They weren't the friends. They weren't the sidekicks. Fast forward now to Marvel. Fast forward now to Marvel. Robert Townsend's talking about blaxploitation, how they weren't the sidekicks, how they weren't the friends, and they were the world savers and everything. Fast forward now to Marvel. Like if you look at all of the black people for the most part, all of them are just sidekicks. Like all of them are sidekicks. Even with the whole marketing of the Peter Pan movie, it's like the Black Tinkerbell, she's just a little sidekick for the most part. She's not the main person. Robert Townsend talking about what happened during the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s and stuff. The black folks are just sidekicks, and now it's the same thing. And then when they make them the main ones, they make them lame, and nobody don't really care nothing about them. Except for Black Panther. And even with Black Panther, it's like the stuff that I'm not gonna get into that. I'll talk about that's a whole other thing. I'm not gonna do that right now. But it's important. I'm not gonna do that right now. Fuck Wakanda. But it's important that our stories get told, because the outrage marketing that they use will fun of us, and then it doesn't do anything. It doesn't it don't really make no daggone sense. So it's like, why does this keep happening? Because that's how they benefit, and they know that black folks, they know how to trigger black folks. Disney and everybody know how to trigger black folks. They know that if you like before, like that video where they talk about how black folks like to buy name brand stuff because they they only got a little bit of money, and if they gonna buy it, they're gonna buy a name brand no matter what, and they gotta look good in front of people and everything. They know now is like you throw out a little black skinned person and throw a little racist tweets from some trolls. Oh, they know we're gonna lose our mind. We're gonna promote it. We're gonna watch. Go. I bet it's already on Instagram and everything. I bet it's people got reels, like the 5 photo things and everything on Instagram talking about black Tinkerbell. I'm gonna go see it, and I'm gonna see it because, like, listen. Jesus. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying not go see the movie because I'm going to see it. Shit, I wouldn't see. I'm not. With Black Panther, I have my issues because they kept, like, when it came to Black Americans, they kept making Black American characters like these weird mushmouth Negroes. Like you had to go to Africa, make a character of this fictitious land, and then what you took from another character, hearsay, allegedly, allegedly, and then this is what we get. And then the thing about it is, Black Panther has no connection to the Black Americans for the most part. He came and did some schooling and stuff, but he ain't never really had a lot of connections to the black folks in America. They had him fight like the Klan, I think, a few times and stuff, but that was like, nah. But the more they did with Wakanda, it wasn't like they separated them. They separated and kept separating, and now we got what we got right now. So, and again, and I'm not saying you don't have the right to, Bobby. I ain't saying you ain't got the right to, or what you think. That's just where I'm coming from. But what I will say, my biggest issue is, again, controlling of the image. Like, who controls the image? Like, I can't. I like the character. I like Black Panther for the most part. I think the overall Wakanda stuff is always stupid to me for the most part. But who controls that image? Like, Marvel controls it. So they can put them black folks and have us doing God knows what in the most ignorant stuff. And then it's just like, you know what? That's just what them Negroes do. And so I'm not cool with who controls the image when it comes to black folks. That's why I always like, you don't necessarily have to, and I don't agree with nothing. I don't agree with a lot of stuff, but I do agree with China when it comes to how their images are controlled when they deal with Americans in Hollywood and stuff. I do agree with them. It's like, no. You ain't gonna have us out here looking like that. It ain't gonna get shown out here. They stick to it, like, it ain't gonna get shown out here. I'm not saying that what they do is right. Now, don't get on this whole, well, you said whatever. I'm saying that the controlling of your image is important. It's important because if somebody else controls your image, you always got these battles you got to fight, and that just demoralizes you as a person. It's like going to work every day and they telling you when you can take lunch, when you can go home, when you can and can't take breaks, when you can't do, and you're doing everything you're supposed to do. And they just keep telling you when and where you can do and what you can't do. After a while, that gets old and it bothers you. And maybe it's just me. So my thing is, who controls the image? If it's not black folks controlling the image, giving positive images of other black people, then it's, and the same thing going back to what I was talking about with the Harry Potter thing. It's cool. It looked nice. It looked cool. But does this image benefit us anytime? We're amongst everybody else and we want to belong. Stop trying to belong to everything else that's not you. Go look in the mirror, Tell yourself that you love yourself, and the people that look like me is good enough, and we're gonna make this thing happen. Because that's what everybody else do. That's what everybody. There ain't no reason why we can't do it now with everything that's going on. Like we have, whether it's AI, the internet, and everything, we have the opportunities to do these things. You don't have to promote anybody else's stuff. Shit. That'd be wild as hell. If they made their own Call of Duty style game, that'd be wild too. I'm not surprised. I won't be surprised when they do it though. And so, we're always going to have to deal with racism in certain things when it comes to being even in nerd culture. Like y'all try to. There's a lot of stuff in this so-called. I know. Okay, Stephanie. He says it's a Facebook user. I realized I was like, hey, how you doing? Facebook user 4528. But no, hey Stephanie. But yeah, it doesn't go well, and it doesn't benefit the black folks. And it's not just black folks, it's everybody. It happens to everybody. But I'm black, I got black children, I got black kids, black nieces, nephews, all that stuff. So I'm talking about black folks when it comes. I'm hopping in and out. But everybody should control their own images. And so even with the whole Scott thing, it's like black folks keep trying to play this game where it's this, we all in this together, and these people, everybody ain't in there with you. Again, I'm not talking about white, Asian, anybody else that's there, that's standing, that's 10 toes down, this helping out, this real allies help doing what they can in the community with everybody. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about them fake ass folks that be playing games like Scott Adams and want to go whole racist white supremacists. That's not, and it's a lot of them like that. There's a lot of them like that play this game, and we sitting back talking about it's okay for somebody else to control your image. It's okay for us. It's okay for him to draw one little black person in Dilbert's office because there's a black person there. They finally put a black person. Like, get the hell out of here, man. No. Control your image. Get your thoughts out your head because we need them. We need whatever thoughts you got and what stories you want to tell. We need them. So learn how to do it and get it rolling and make it happen, because if it does not happen, we're going to have to keep dealing with that. We're going to have to keep dealing with Disney being like, hey, they go black Tinkerbell, don't you want that? Look at these racist white folks. These trolls are just so mad. Ain't y'all black folks gonna come support us? Yeah, we are. And then she gonna be in there. She gonna be in there off and on, and you just still wouldn't see the movie with a bunch of other racists and other people got money and stuff. So control your images. Put that stuff out. Make them books. Write them stories, get them cartoons, get whatever you got to get, what you got to get, and get it amongst your people. Again, like Amos Wilson said, a lot of these things come from myths and folklores that are made up about black folks. And then we got to deal with it because it's a way for the dominant society to make themselves feel good about the trifling shit that they do to other people. Even with Indians, it's simple. Even with Indians, they'll tell you, they're talking who's the criminals, and have you noticed that, talk about criminality and stuff, have you noticed that the people that are least affected by crime are always the first ones to talk about crime? You're not even affected by it. You ain't nobody gonna come mess with you, but you the first one talking about crime and everything. But even with the American Indians, you come through, do all kinds of trifling shit, make up folklore and myths, and say that they were the savages. They were the savages. They were terrible. They were horrible people. They had to go because they were savages. And then tell all these stories about these people being savages and terrible people and all this other stuff. Whole time it was them. So no. You got to control your image. You got to put these stories out. You got to get there and writing and put out these stories that show black people in a different light. Show black people, just going back to the 300 thing again, showing black people being world beaters, not just this neighborhood shit that we keep getting. Luke Cage, and then even with stuff like Black Panther. Like on Black Panther, the first both movies, there was never, like when I'm looking at it, there was no this is world ending shit. Like I didn't get that urgency in Black Panther. Not the first one, loved it. Or the second one, and I like the second one. I know I talk shit and everything, but I do like the second one. And I got my issues. I've already talked about it. I'm not going back over that. You can go watch another video. But it wasn't like everything that they were doing that it was like world ending. You know what I'm saying? Like oh my God, if they don't fix this, it's just going to be the world. Oh my God. Now, even though Ant-Man was bleh, it was meh. I liked it because of Kang. And see, even I do it. I mainly watched it because of Kang, because of Jonathan Majors being Kang. If somebody else was Kang, I'd probably be like, nah. No, that's not true. I probably would have still watched it because I do genuinely like the characters, even if the stuff is meh. So it was meh, but the whole time they kept hammering home that, man, we got to do what we got to do because Kang is a bad motherfucker. And it was like, Ant-Man's like, yeah, he saved everybody because if Kang get out, all this stuff gonna happen. But with the black characters, like, this some old hood neighborhood shit. Luke Cage's show, neighborhood shit, and that's understandable. So we ain't gonna talk about that. But I never felt like it was like this world-ending, world-beating threat that needed to be stopped. And we need to see that. Going back to 300, white folks, especially white men, lost their mind when 300 came out. Lost their mind. I don't know how many times I knew what this was. After 300 came out, I knew what this was after the first weekend that movie came out. What is this? Huh? What is this? I ain't even gonna say it. You know what this is. And so it needs to be that. We need more stuff, and not these daggone slave stories over and over again. It's not that they need to go away. I'm not saying they need to go away, but it just needs to be more. That's it. And that's what we're doing. The creatives you see, whether it's my stories with Void Bees, Souls of Chaos, The Extraordinary Messiah, that's a good thing then. That's a good thing then. With my books with Void Beast, everything. I'm glad you're here too. Whether it's Greg's books with his Nana, with Tuskegee Edwards, whether it's Iron Infinity, whether it's Swag Patrol, whether it's her, whether it's the Godhood folks, whether it's the folks at Saturday AM, whether like I don't have to, nor Caesar, Static Shock. I don't have to like and agree with everything, but the stories need to be told. And they need to be told amongst black people. Don't ever believe that lie that for one, black folks ain't got no money. That's a damn lie. I can't promote to them. They ain't got no money. That's the first one. And don't believe that it's not worth it because it's necessary, because we have to have those stories amongst ourselves. So I can't call it. I got messed up this shirt because I got paint all on. Had paint all on it because I was painting. It just messed it up. I was like, oh well, it's an old shirt anyway. But these stories got to be told, and I'm gonna just keep preaching the same thing. And I'm gonna have to go out and start barking at folks. I'm like, get your stories out here. Get on my damn nerves because you worried about yourself and you worried about what somebody else thinking. They don't like it and stuff. No, we got to stop that. We got to stop. We got to get these, because it's so many people. You don't know how many people that are like, man, I want my kids to read these books, but I want them to see black folks, or at least want them to have black folks that ain't just sidekicks and stuff like that. It's necessary. And then again, like I said earlier, I ain't mad at white folks doing what they got to do. I ain't never going to say, you know what, 300 shouldn't have been. No. Make it. And white folks, y'all got every right to lose your mind about it. You got every right. But black folks, y'all got to do the same with your stories. Don't put a black person over there with the Spartans and be like, yeah, there was black people in Sparta. I'm not saying that they weren't, because there were black Spartans. But hell, most of them was a go ahead. Most of them were straight mulatto classes anyway. So I'll leave that to the historians. Man, ask a question. Yeah, do your thing. But you gotta have them. You got to have them. You got to have them. So I'm gonna wait and see what this question is. Pew pew. But you have to have it. There's like, it can't be this thing where I'm not. And black folks do pay for stuff. I make jokes sometimes about but I'm in the as a white person, I'm curious what you mean by white people lost their mind at 300. The movie 300 that came out a couple of years ago. Was it the Frank Miller story? The movie, and what's this? Fight the Persians and everything. What I was saying, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but hopefully this will answer. What I was saying was that when I was doing MMA and stuff, there were a lot of white folks that seen the movie, especially white men, that lost their mind when that movie came out. And the reason why is because it was images of white people. It was images of European-esque people that were fighting the odds against this horde of black folks. Basically, you could say for the most part. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that we have to make our own films and stuff like that. Because white men, as a white person, sir or ma'am, you know that when that movie, white people lost the I'm not saying all. Let's not turn this into everybody white. Let's not turn it into that. Yeah, and it's okay. Pew pew. Yeah, same thing with the Vikings. Yeah, pew pew, pew pew. So yeah, a lot of, you know how many white men were just jumping around, yelling and stuff after seeing homeboy get kicked in that pit at the beginning of I'm just not a normal white person. It ain't nothing wrong with being a normal white person or any type of white person. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But I'm gonna just call it how I see it. It was losing their minds because it was like it was these European-esque people that was like, yo, we fighting for our kids, our families, our lineage. We not running from them. We gonna kill all of them. We gonna face this whole army down, and we not gonna let them take over the world. And white folks was losing their mind. A lot of them. And I ain't mad at that. I watched it and liked it for that too. But the undertones to it was this small group of men from this white country were fighting these big brutish black brown people that would usually be called some type of nigga. It's both. For me, it's both. It's always both. Because that mindset shifts to other people when needed, but it always goes back to the black ones. It is always used on the black ones. So I say I agree with the mind thing, but I also agree that it's a color thing too. Yeah. Okay, I feel you on that. Yeah, like even with Vikings, it's like folks lose their mind over them Vikings because it was like they big, strong white dudes. They didn't take no crap. They was going out tearing shit up. They was doing everything. They was beating motherfuckers over their head. Everybody they came on to, you couldn't get past no Viking. Oh man, they was bad. And that goes back to that mythology that I was talking about with Amos Wilson. You have to build up these mythologies for other people and for your own people to make you feel like you are justified in what you're doing and better than. Whole time, Eric the Reds people and everybody came over here to America and was getting their asses mauled. Them Vikings were getting washed by natives over here. Whether they were the native, the red skin, the black skin ones, everything, because they all said there were black people over here too. So they came over here way before the other Europeans. The other Europeans came over before Columbus and them came over. Them Vikings came over in that northern part of America, got washed by natives, just getting beat, got their asses beat, and they don't talk about that. No, you don't talk about that. You don't talk about that. Because if you do, yeah, you wasn't there. Oh, none of us there. But that's fine. We're not gonna do that though. That's fine. Whether you're there or not, it's still part of the culture that all of us are getting presented. It's still part of that. Shit, Frank Miller wasn't there, and he wrote a story about it, and then brought it back, and everybody's still seen and identified with it. So whether we there or not, it still represents moments in time, whether it's fake, real, whatever. It still represents moments in time that people can identify with. So, and some people still intake like what Homeboy was saying, like what Bobby was saying about being a mindset, and people still identifying with these things for the wrong reasons, and that just goes into people said I was gonna be chopping up all the natives. I did. I ain't mad at you, player. I ain't mad at you. I tell folks all the time that may be the case, but I'm one of the ones we would just have to be fighting, because I ain't gonna let you run up on me like that. But ain't nothing wrong with that. So yeah, that's I'm not gonna stay up here too. Yep. Basically, Bobby. You just go kill everybody. You gonna poke the Vikings when you come with them, and I mean, hey, it was like that's what happened with war with certain folks. So I'm just saying, all in all, you got to control your image. And I'm not mad at nobody else for controlling their image. If white folks and Asians and everybody else control their images, I ain't mad at you. Do your thing. Control your images as you should. But we have to make sure we're controlling ours and making ours and putting ours to the forefront, not continuously trying to belong to some other group or somebody else's situation. We can't. That's a losing battle. Don't keep trying to belong with everybody else. When you have your own stuff, or you create your own stuff, that's what being on this world is. That's what being on this earth is. That's what being on this planet is. Create something out of nothing, and make that the standard. Like, don't keep trying to force yourself into somebody else's stuff. I mean, that's true. I don't doubt that at all. But I still got to deal with how I get looked at on the outside. My kids still got to deal with that. So I don't get into that. And I treat everybody the same, because we all the same for the most part. I agree with that. But we still got different opportunities and different things to go through. So all I would say is act accordingly. But I also believe in respecting folks. So I'm gonna have to holler at y'all later. I got some other things I got to get done and get rolling too and stuff. So as usual, go to this website, get the books. We're working on Void Beast Chapter 5, and we're going to be doing that on Kickstarter. I want to, since that will most likely be the last one, then we'll have another. You can go on YouTube and check out the other ones. I have all my other stuff up there. Later, Bobby. Yep, later, my man. So go on there, sign up for SableCon if you are in the North Carolina area, May 20th and 21st. Any of my creative people, I need y'all to get out there. I got a few spots left. We still working on some other stuff, getting it happen. So getting it to happen. So it's all good. And yeah, Void Beast Chapter 5. This will probably be the last one that we have as far as like chronological stories, even though it's not finished, because my man Francis is going on to better things. That's my man. So ain't no issues or nothing, but still want him. But he gonna ain't nothing wrong, pew pew. We'll have some other stuff up for you to indulge and check out in. So you more than welcome to do that. But we're gonna try something new with Void Beast. We're gonna try something new with some different stories from different artists. So I'll have more stuff out on that, and we're gonna get a couple of pages from different artists and stuff, and then smash them all together. I've seen some of my other people do it, and I've liked it. My man that does Jason Wise and stuff, I talked to him, and he pointed that out to me, and I was like, you know what, I need to start doing this. So shout out to my man for Jason Wise and stuff, and Uranus and everything. My man, I appreciate that, pew pew. Do your thing, player. So do that. Go to AkachiComics.com. Check out SableCon. Check out the books and everything. And I will holler at y'all later. And thanks for sitting here listening to me ranting on God knows what. It's all fun and stuff. So I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.